Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NLC Division 2. We're joined by a fuzzy Jamada now. He's slowly coming into focus as we're getting ready to go into our second game of the day, Lightside versus Guarp. We expected the last game to be quite close, and we thought this would be the one-sided game. Maybe expectations would get shattered here, but realistically looking at on paper, Lightside 8-3 in the standings right now. Guarp are 3-8, so it would be a real big kind of turnaround for them. And it's that kind of talking about the bottom teams who are kind of just treading water right now and trying to stay above Division 3. If they can find a win here, it really slingshots them up a little bit more in the standings.
Yeah, and we can talk about how important of a win it has to be for Lightside, but also like you kind of just briefly mentioned, I think more so for Guap, right? They've already taken out Lightside once. Maybe they can do it again, but importantly, because Lucent and London United play towards the end of the day, both being 3-8 themselves as well. One of those two teams has to win. It's how League of Legends works. So you want to be tied with the team that wins and not tied with the team that loses. Otherwise, it's going to start to turn into a real boxing match between you and that one team to try and escape out of that bottom two to avoid relegation.
Yeah, and especially if you're finding wins versus these kind of higher end teams, it means you could potentially avoid things like tiebreakers and stuff like that. So you want those head-to-heads to kind of either not really get called into. Obviously, there's something that you would like to have, just a head-to-head in case, but realistically, there is that side of like, okay, maybe we just don't need to rely on the head-to-head if we're high enough up in the standings, so at least avoid that relegation spot here in Division 2. We'll have to see, though. We'll see what the chat select looks like, because last game we saw Natives pick a very, very aggressive team, a team with a lot of tools within its kit, so I'm curious to see what Lightside and Guap are going to be looking to do. I'm saying it now. Don't pick Udyr. I just like, you might be right. You might be completely right, Jamada. You just need to know how to play around it at the moment. But I just think there are easier junglers to pick and play around than the Udyr. That's my opinion.
This is the thing. I think Udyr is really easy to play around, but the problem is teams are so used to junglers playing for the lanes and not the other way around that teams
Yeah.
just don't really execute on it. It's the evolution of jungle, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and be philosopher Jamada
Actually,
about
no,
like
no,
how
no, no, no. No, I was a mid
what.
laner. I've had to rotate for multiple crabs over the years. I play for the
Oh yeah,
jungle.
yeah, yeah. No, but this is the problem because see, yes,
The pain in
yes,
that sigh, man.
the pain in the side, yes, because yeah, laners have had to deal with the whole like scuttle crab thing, and that definitely went both ways because that's like a mix of junglers being too stubborn to recognize when they should be on one side of the map or the other, or when they should be giving up crabs. And I would actually blame usually actually junglers for contesting the incorrect crab, but you also see the opposite thing where laners don't actually react to what they should be or move to things they should be because they're not necessarily paying attention to what their jungle is doing. It works both ways in that sense.
Look,
But if
at the
you're talking
end of
about
the day,
competitive play, yeah.
at the end of the day, your junglers are better than AD carries. AD carries are the worst.
Oh god, AD
Yeah.
carries are
We can all agree,
so
but no
terrible.
one likes an AD carry. Anyway, we're into pick some bans. The Corki, the Wukong, the Akshan, all banned away. See what the next band's going to be. Yes, no one likes AD carries. Callista also getting banned away.
Ban more, ban more. What else do AD? Yeah, that's going in the
Yeah.
bottom lane a lot these days. Actually, Seraphine. All right, we'll take that. What next? What gets played a
Senna?
lot? Lucian, Senna. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like. Yeah, go up, do it. I think that could be good. I mean, I think a realistic ban could actually be something like Moxlox's Jinx, or even if Elios, he does lean a lot on those hyper carries still at the moment, but they could just leave it for now and just ban something else, which is pretty standard, but maybe they just ban away Senna and they keep these AD carry bans going because who likes AD carries? All right, it's Victor towards these. These had a really, really strong Victor game, even if they ended up losing towards the end of it, Lightside, in that game on Thursday. It looked very threatening, and now Lightside, plenty of options, right? We've spoken about all of the Sennas. Zeri, Yumi, both up, didn't get touched last game. Could look to be first picked here at the moment. Typically, what you'll actually see is Yumi out of the two in this pairing. So we'll see what Guarp actually want to do on the opposite side, because it kind of, in many ways, almost forces them to take up the Yumi to split apart the pairing. Otherwise, they have to deal with Zeri Yumi, which is just a very obnoxious pairing. It's as simple as that. And of course, you can run things like Ezreal plus that Yumi as well on the bottom side to sort of outrange, outpoke, outsustain to the best of your ability. It does mean that in most of those lanes, you end up giving up early lane priority, though. So that is definitely, the trade-off between doing that. We'll see what Guap want to do for now, though, as they're going to at the very least go towards
You can't pick Yumi with that.
which you can't necessarily pick Yumi with. Maybe what they end up doing is going jungle here for Duncan Messi. We saw him, I think it was the Udyr on Thursday. Didn't really get to see much else out of the actual game itself. But we could end up seeing, like a gank heavy-ish jungler, and then we end up seeing something like a Nautilus on R3, just so that we can get this Zeri Yumi, the anticipated Zeri Yumi shut down. No. Ivan? I get to cast an Ivan game? Crazy.
Who was it who picked Ivan Rengar? Like, I swear someone last season picked up.
Someone
was it EUM?
It was a go rogue. It was a go rogue.
It was a go rogue.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Worked really well for them. We'll see whether or not what we get out of Guarp here, though, because Ivan, simply put, is a champion that you just don't get to scrim against unless you're against like really strange teams that just kind of happen to have an Ivan player on it in the jungle normally. Of course, we've seen it a lot as well from the likes of Bison over in the Spanish league, where it just ends up being picked as sort of like a mid or a bot laner for that team. But Lightside, they're not going to go for a support pick right now. They're going to go towards the Ornn. And we have to remember, Ivan this year has been functioning as a flex in every lane and every role. Top, mid, technically even support / AD carry, and jungle. So we can't necessarily, make assumptions on where this will go. We just have to kind of sit here and wait. We've got Mopson on the opposite side of the bottom lane. Will be picking up the Gnar to go into the Ornn at the very least. So very standard matchup at the most that we're very familiar with.
But interestingly, we haven't seen this Yumi get picked up here, and I now expect to probably see that and the Lulu as two potential bans here for Guarp. Two champs that work so well with that Zeri. Taking away the Yumi, that's probably the big one, but the Lulu is still an option. Now on the other side, maybe it's just going to be more support pool stuff getting banned away, things that can handle the Zeri. Obviously, things like the point and click CC that Nautilus brings is always pretty rough. Obviously, Nautilus with a Jin's not the greatest lane, but they are just going to ban away the Pike here. Take away something that does have its own CC and also quite a lot of roaming potential as well.
Yeah, and even if you can say maybe it's not the greatest lane, the fact that they have so much CC tied together, though, can still make it really strong for a lot of setup. Especially, hell, if Ivan does end up in the jungle, CC, it feels like even though there's not a lot of damage between those three champions per se, especially early on in the game, it's too much CC. Like, if you get hit by one thing, you're just going to stay there and die. It's as simple as that. Renata is going to be the ban that comes in here for Guarp, so they don't want to see Renata paired up with Zeri, and honestly, don't blame them. That can be very obnoxious. I think Lightside definitely could have used that tool pretty well, considering at the moment Guarp don't really have too much engage or solid engage or nor disengage, to be honest with you. And that's kind of the thing about Renata, is she works really well into a lot of heavy dive, but she also works into comps that have no true go buttons, because if they do get in range to try and do something, then all of a sudden that almost still dissuades them and stops them from doing that. And just in general, the tool is so powerful. But we get the Nautilus ban as we kind of anticipated coming in against Guarp, and now it seems like we're going to get Silas taken up into the Lightside lineup, which so far has at the very least one pretty strong armor inside of Ornn, and now Teasers has to think a little more carefully about what champion he's picking here to not give over too much value to the Silas.
All right, well, waiting down the timer a little bit longer before they look to pick something up. Like I said, the Lulu is still up and available if they want to put that on there, but they are actually looking towards the mid lane, locking in the Ahri there for Teasers. And we'll see what the final pick is going to be here. It's obviously for Zvene in this bot side. There are still a fair few supports up and available. Don't have to lean into Enchanters. Could go something for a little bit more crowd control if they want something to kind of follow up with the Ornn on that front. But they also could just go Enchanter. So kind of running this down and really scratching their heads on exactly what they want to be picking up. But as that timer comes to an end, we're going to see the Lulu get picked up here for the side of Lightside.
Yeah, and you spoke about it during the ban phase. Yumi, Lulu, things like Karma as well can go really well with the Zeri, and they only ended up banning out 2, and of course there's just so many to ban away. Very curious about Teasers' Ahri pick here, because it's a bit of a self-counter pick in the matchup. Obviously, lane matchups aren't everything, but we typically see the reverse, right? A lot of Silas get picked into the Ahri. You kind of have more dashes than the Ahri can have. Ahri's limited to 3. You technically have like 2.5. And then you also get to pick up the Spirit Rush yourself. We're going to get Blitzcrank as an answer here. And again, we said, right, a lot of setup can come from the likes of that Nautilus Jhin lane. Instead, Nugget goes towards the Blitzcrank, and now a lot of kill threat on towards that, well, either of them, right? The Zeri or the Lulu. But when you're talking about also having an Ivern in the game, you're going to have, hook plus knock up plus root. It's like 5 seconds of CC. If you get hit by one ability, you're almost certainly dead. So I think what's kind of scary is you can't even really take cleanse as that kind of combination. You can try, but I think, again, too much setup. You'd at best be able to like cleanse flash out of it, but then you have no cleanse or flash for the next time that setup happens. It's not, a very short cooldown. But what I also like about the Ivern here is that it's got two like short range-ish bruisers to play around, because I think Ivern works one of two ways. You can either pair him with, your hyper carry like a Jinx or an Aphelios, and he just kind of buffs them up to oblivion, or you pair him with a skirmishing melee champion, and he kind of just turns them into an unkillable beast. It's kind of a lot scarier to deal with than a hyper carry with an Ivern on its back, to be honest with you. So we'll see how they actually end up using this pairing, and I'm telling you from first-hand experience, you have one of the best casters to have an Ivern in the game, I promise. Because Ivern players don't exist. It's like me and 4 other people across the globe, I promise. So yeah, we'll see how it ends up functioning. I think Lightside, though, a lot more standard to what we've been seeing over the last couple of patches. On the top side for safe engage, non-committal engage, Ari Viego in the mid jungle, and then of course Zeri Lulu, which just takes a little bit of time to ramp up, but if it gets going early on, it won't stop.
Yeah, that is a scary bot lane if it gets going, but you've got that blitz, you've got that, pretty solid pick potential here as we are onto the Rift for our second game of the day. This is Guarp taking on Lightside. Lightside 8-3 right now in the standings. Well, Guarp currently just 3-8. Guarp. It's because it sounds like a frog ribbiting. Guarp. That's why I call them it.
Yeah, so it's like a Mexican standoff. Lightside, they put a ward on both entrances of the bottom side jungle, and they're just stacked up, waiting for Guarp to maybe walk in. But the problem is Guarp are expecting a stack, it seems. So they've warded over the wall, but the problem is that Lightside's ward has spotted that ward, and it's all a big game of 4D chess, which neither team knows the better of. Oh, hello.
Oh
god. Oh no.
Oh, what's happening? What have you done? Well, I'll cover while Jamada's internet has obviously died. Drunken Messi here on the Ivern. Obviously going to be an interesting one to see his pathing and see how he goes about that. Obviously, if we had Jamada here, he would be able to explain to us. Say he's back.
I fixed it. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I'm technically using 2 phones for my at the moment, and one of them just decided to not work. So I'm back on a stable connection. Remote casting. What can I say? Well, it's less about remote casting and more about
remote casting, man.
Yeah, I can't complain. I was born in it. But yeah, you were saying if we had Jamada here, what are we talking about? Pathing for Ivern, I assume?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I didn't actually get to see. I think he's marked his bot side, right? So
yes,
what he's gonna do
he went
is
to blue first.
Yeah, so he's likely gonna mark his raptors, mark his red. Either order doesn't really matter, but he's gonna smite his red buff and then return back to the bottom side to consume those camps, and that's when he gets the XP, of course. So Ivern, yeah, clearing a little bit awkward. You're kind of gated to a maximum clear, and it looks like he didn't actually mark the raptors because the ward went down from teasers, so he didn't want to reveal exactly where he is, which definitely a bit of a trade-off, because you have to remember, again, you have to wait 30-something seconds for those raptors to come up, and you can actually see Bambi pathing across from his red side, going into a Duncan Messi's own red side to pick this one up. So we'll just take this one away. And one thing that definitely very much hurts Ivern is leaving those, at least, one little one to ensure that it stays up and the spawn is delayed. Now, looking for a mid lane gank, the problem is Bambi's actually just around the corner.
Oh, they are able to catch him with that. Mr. Charm does connect, and the flash comes down. The ignite is being thrown out, and Duncan Messi able to just about get out. That was a very close play in the mid.
Yeah, teasers drops the ignite. Looks like Silas has to just kind of give up the wave. Maybe no, it's going to stick around as Lightside go back to their own duties. Teaser's going to go for a reset. Bambi going to go towards that grab. Actually, interestingly, I didn't realize Bambi looked like maybe flashed forward for the Spectral more. So flashes from jungle on Lightside and then mid lane from Guarp. So we'll see whether or not Guarp can find Bambi out in the jungle at some point and punish him, but more towards Lightside, I beg your pardon, in trying to punish that Silas in the mid lane.
Almost both mid laners going down, but they are able to get themselves the recalls off. I think, though, the way the wave state was set up, and actually now that Svene's moved up, this is actually going to work in favor of Taziz. His wave's going to get pulled down by the Lulu, and he's not going to lose any farm here. And he's got himself the better recall off, obviously. I'm not even going to attempt to say that Silas name. He has picked himself up. He's got the teleport, so he is able to just get back into the lane nice and easy.
Yeah, I've been avoiding it as well. We had him on the interview on Thursday.
How do you say?
And he did teach us how to pronounce it, but I've forgotten, which I feel bad about. But also, it's a very complicated name to pronounce. So
I'm gonna. This is my public service message to every player who wants to be a professional player. Make your name easier to pronounce. Trust me, it helps you more than anyone. It's not about us. It's about you. Remember Reckless? People used to call him Reckles. Like
I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, to be fair, it's
spelled
2
Reckles.
Ks,
To be fair,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, like if it was a C and a K, then it's like, all right, then I would understand. Oh, well, I wouldn't get why people would call it Reckles then. But like 2 Ks, yeah, sure, I can half forgive. But
Yeah.
you know, be simply put, be like Fred Spaghetti. Can't go wrong with Fred Spaghetti.
I'm just trying to see. Bambi as well.
Bambi, yeah.
Bambi's a good name. I think they're all good names, but just some are
Beezy.
harder to say than others. I like Nugget as well.
Nugget, yeah. Nugget's a cool name. There's no Nugget like pro player I think we've ever had. Unless I'm just not old enough to know.
We need one called Ketchup. So you can dip him in. TC's actually jumping in here. Has got Duncan Messi with him. He's going to ult out. No, he's going to flash out. So they're chasing him for a little bit more. Nugget coming in. Not going to land the grab. It's just going to be that.
Yeah, Duncan Messi sent that root caller really wide. I'm not actually sure how, but now Nugget.
Oh no.
Getting jumped onto by Bambi. Bambi's not going to get hooked on the return. Held onto the rocket grab. But on the bottom side, they know where the Ivan is. They know the mid lane's chunked out. Teases as well, but the difference is he's got access to his Ulma at the moment. So I think Silas is either going to have to base or they're trying to use the brush in the lane. But the problem is they don't know the timer when that actually dissipates. And it seems like Teases isn't going to take the bait. And now he's going to walk out of the brush. Look towards the dragon because Bambi and Zvene have taken it.
Oh,
kind of under their noses. Could be in trouble.
Oh, misses out on the charm just about. Gets a whole bunch of additional damage out as Nuggets looking for the grab. Teases jashes away. They're not going to chase anymore. The Ivern will be able to waddle away to safety. It looks like this action in this mid lane is slowly coming to an end as Ornn reminds us that Ornn is actually not a tank and he is a damage dealer. Top lane still pushing.
If he had mana, he would solo kill that Gnar right now. And
not
he would
as a
like
Volt,
overkill by like 500. Yeah, by
true. Yes, that's also a good point. He is in mini.
So he needs it's the broken health plant. What can I say? Just goes down, picks them up, and he's even going to take 2 procs of fleet footwork to heal back up. That's cheating, man. And he's got Cole, so he's technically like healing up per auto.
Yeah, he's
full HP because he's transformed. Yeah. All of that hard work that MBZ did to get his lane ahead.
I think
now he's
Breezy's down on farm as well. Yeah.
Well, you have to remember now because Vigo's taken that crab, it's buffed up by 4, so it's a bit of a cheat. It's technically he's only up like 5 CS or 7.
Yeah, true. But he's still up CS.
I'll never understand why they did that change. The
what one?
Every jungle camp is worth 4 creep score.
Well, I'll put you in Ori just said because junglers can't count.
I think it's actually because the laners can't count. I think that's why they changed it.
I think the reason why is so there's a comparable CS levels between junglers and mid laners. Well, sorry, not mid laners, junglers and laners. I guess that's why, because it's never like you never see a jungler with the same farm as like a farming AD carry or something like that, but you do, at least there's like a comparable level, I guess is the best way to word it. Because if you're seeing a jungler's got 12 CS, it's like, oh, he's taken 12 camps. Okay. And like, yeah, maybe laners can't count. maybe, I'm having the realization maybe that is a laner problem actually.
It's a laner problem, yeah, because the problem is laners...
No. Do you know why? It's a viewer
I remember
problem.
when they changed... Oh, well, yeah, actually.
To make it easier for viewers to digest.
it was a mixture of everything. I remember. For me, it felt irritating because I used to be able to track junglers really well, depending on how much CS score they had. Because obviously everything was just 1-to-1. You know, if you took what is now the Grump camp instead of a Wraith camp, it would just give you 1 CS. If you took the chickens, it would give you 4 because actually that was also a Wraith camp. But if you took the chicken camp, it would only be worth 4. Wolves 3, and then buffs 1, and then Krugs didn't used to break up, and they were called golems back then, so they would just give you 2 creep score. So you would just be able to kind of figure out what a jungler's been up to. These days, though, oh, hello.
Nugget's found himself a juicy morsel, and that is first blood to Fred Spaghetti. Our food fiend bot lane popping off down here with a great grab from Nugget.
Yeah, top side as well, and BZ gets kind of all in here. Now he's trying to turn it back around at the very least, but it's probably just chunk damage.
Yeah, just a light trade. BZ. Easy BZ able to step away from that after getting himself a trade off. Fred Spaghetti gets a plate in the bot side as well for himself. Nugget's not even going to get the gold for that, so just injecting more and more gold into Guarp's bot lane. So we look on the other side. Top lane still heavily shoving in mid lane. Like I said, Teaser's picked himself into this matchup, and it's not been looking awful. But I do worry, you know, is there a point where this just gets really, really hard? Or, you know, does it balance out a little bit later?
I mean, so it's more definitely about the early laning phase here. It could be problematic if CC lands onto Teasers, but everything goes wide. And Teaser just dashes away, and now he's got 2 more dashes, as I would assume. And 6 gamer. Close enough. I tried. Oh!
That's the flash away as Nugget's coming in looking for the
Nugget.
grab. He's going to get blocked out, but no! The hole comes down at the perfect time to save his life. Bambi will not fall like his mother. Yeah, I realized that was bad.
Nice. I don't know how I feel about that line, but I feel like every time I cast... Oh, hello, mid lane.
Hello, mid lane indeed, as it looks like it might just be a kill for Zvene, the Lulu. The first kill picked up for the side of Lightside. They do actually have Daisy doing some work as they get themselves a good old rocket punch off from Nugget onto Bambi, but Bambi is able to step away to safety. Dragon spawning up in 8 seconds time, and Lightside do have the inside track on this. It's going to be that Hextech Drake for them as well, as actually... Mox okay actually coming into Fred Spaghetti, gets the exhaust thrown down, but he's still doing quite a lot of damage to him here. Fred Spaghetti has to flash and exhaust. Nothing used by the Zeri.
Yeah, nothing ends up being used besides the ultimate from the Zeri. Fred Spaghetti's just going to get forced further and further away. Bambi has the Herald, don't forget, but seems like they're not going to immediately drop it for now. Nugget and Duncan Messi, they're waiting in the wings, trying to basically just react to whatever Lightside do. It seems like they're more interested in this dragon, and I think as Silas has now arrived here, it's a 3v3, and Jin's going to be behind with the curtain call, and Bambi has no armor. He's going to flash out of the pit or he's dead.
Yeah, but I think he's going to get it down just in time. No!
Oh!
Pulls him back in the hill. The smite won't even save him. Dragon secured, and the frogs take away everything, but now they're jumping into the Zeri's face. Zene... There, words hard.
Zeri's Vene. Loads of Z's there.
I know there's a lot of Z's going on there. Vene is able to get away for now as Triz shoves in a wave, gets a plate, but Nugget not going to be able to catch him up in time, and looks like that is just going to be the end of that action. Viggo Mopstan gets 2 kills on the top side of the map.
2 plates.
Plates,
kills.
yeah.
Slightly different things, Jake. Slightly different things. 2
he kills 2 plates.
He kills 2 plates. I mean, wasn't there like some weird thing like years ago about towers being sentient on Summoner's Rift, or am I living in a fever dream? I feel like that was a thing at some point, or maybe it wasn't.
I think you're living in a. I think you're living in a fever dream there, mate.
All right. Well, either way, 2 plates, because technically, then you can actually say, yeah, you're killing the tower because it's alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess technically you're just demolishing towers, but.
Yeah. But
why
yeah,
is
like
it called first tower blood? Because even if they are alive, they're not. They haven't got blood. They're stone.
Yeah, it should be first tower takedown, technically, right?
First tower
break,
concrete. The lifeblood of stone. Stone structures.
I've missed you, mate.
Oh gosh.
All right, so where does this leave us in the game though? Because Guarp, we've been on that tangent for 2 minutes now. They picked up that dragon. They weren't able. Oh, where did Herald get dropped? Actually, did Bambi's Herald time out?
It might have just timed out. He died, remember, in the pit.
Reed, can you go check that for us? Assuming nothing happens as a mid lane, maybe a fight.
Oh, it's going to force the ultimate out. He's chasing him down. Bambi looks to turn around. If they can find the charm, it's going to be big. Goes wide with the Orb of Deception. Bambi, they're just a threat as they jump in, and they can actually keep the blue buff aggro, so Duncan Messi can't dunk away anything. They will be losing that one out for now. Little cheeky steal there for the side of Lightside. As what the hell is going on?
It's a game. It's a game. That's what's going on. Guarp actually technically up, you know, over 1,000 gold now that tower just went down on the top side. And BZ roaming away a little bit, falling behind in CS, and tower eventually broken by Viggo Mobson. And this is the thing, you know, going for the Triforce build, if he goes, you know, I mean, we don't see it too often, but things like Cold Breaker, he can really start to take over that side lane as Second Herald has spawned up. I think it must have timed out whilst he was died. Yeah, whilst he was dead. So yeah, that pick pretty big for Guarp because means that Lightside don't get to use it anywhere. Now they get the Second Herald for themselves. Tower on the bottom side drops for Moxox. So even though he's 0-1-0 at the moment, 140 CS, first tower or another tower in terms of gold for him. Gonna feel really nice to pick up. And he should just have his mythic now by my calculations. It's going to be a shield boat. With the Lulu already giving him loads of shields, he's going to be so obnoxious to kill.
It is going to be very, very hard to kill. You obviously got the Leandries now finished up on two teasers. I can hear Nymera rolling in his grave at the sight of that. But, you know, when you've got the likes...
Okay, hold on, wait. I would call this a good Leandries game for any mage. So,
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, don't worry.
I mean, the real thing is somebody just has to, like, summon Nymera. Not silence. Maybe silence him on the book point.
Silence Nymera!
Silence!
Oh, wow, that is actually quite a lot of damage coming out from Moxox. Able to do a lot there. Not going to find the kill, though.
No, not for now. But, yeah, Leandries, I think, you know, it's a good item, right? Is it a good item on Ahri? Usually when people build it, no. In this game, probably. There's a lot of health stackers, a lot of frontline. Burn damage, you know, it's going to be nice. If you're only playing to assassinate Fred Spaghetti, then yes, technically you're probably, like, net negative. But you're dealing damage to loads of different champions, I'm sure it's fine, mathematically. But yeah, someone has to go and summon Nymera and see whether or not he's molding at this. As Herald gets dropped in the mid lane, gets picked up, and Silas in trouble.
Yeah, Silas in trouble indeed. Not going to catch him with that final Spirit Rush. He almost gets the chains down, but not going to find himself the opening to jump in. It looks like they are able to force them off. He got 8 seconds until this dragon spawns, and actually, with a Silas chunked out heavily, he does have that TP though, so he can come back in, but it doesn't matter because Tiz is able to find himself the kill. Viggo about to gnar out though, and that could be a scary, scary sign of danger for the side of Lightside. They don't care though. They're going to look to start this up. Teleport's coming in, and Viggo still got a little bit of time before he can actually run out of that gnar form. Gets himself a slow. This could be that perfect opportunity. He's got the flash. He's looking for the opportunity to jump forward. Coming in with a gnar. Catches onto 2 members, but Moxox is untouched. Gets the heal off, and he's getting a whole bunch of follow-up damage as well. The Heartbreaker rips through everybody on the side of Guarp as they are chased down for more, but the chain lash into the Deadly Flourish will lock him in place. Bambi able to get away, and here we go. 1 shot comes in, 2 shot goes down. Moxox were able to absorb everything for his team as now they're turning it around with the Call of the Forge God, able to get him locked down for the moment, and Bambi has to flash away. Moxox is trying to see if he can keep his jungler alive. The charm will connect, but no, the stopwatch will come down, and now they're looking to turn it around. Moxox may just be in trouble. The Kingslayer hill is so big he can jump over the wall if he needs to. He's gonna have to flash away, and they look to chase for more, but no, he shall survive. Deadly Flourish goes wide, and Moxox just blocks Guarp from getting more.
Oh, he does just about, but I mean, still Lightside, they pick up the dragon, able to escape with most of their lives, and Guarp gonna be feeling a little bit sorry about that one. I don't even know what was going on outside of just Viggo Mobson finding that really great gnar armor on the backside, but the problem is it just wasn't doing anything to Moxox, and he was just layering out so much damage by the end of the fight. I have a replay to get a better understanding here. As you see, it kicks off. Obviously, we had Antagema. I'm gonna nail it by the end of the game, I promise. Has to recall, but then Duncan Messi gets picked off. I know you're not. Viggo Mobson gets an R-bar rage full, so he starts moving forward. Teleport eventually comes back in, and it's a 4v5 that Guarp have to, try to contest to stop Lightside from picking up the dragon. The root comes in onto the front line, but what's happening is Bambi just one-shotting the Blitzcrank, and he's able to just provide a lot of discouragement from the rest of Guarp. But on the backside, Viggo Motson did so much work in terms of locking everybody down. Eventually, Lightside were kind of halted and had to return back to the dragon, but again, they have more numbers. They're able to pick up the dragon. The objective is the more important thing. And with that, not quite able to turn it onto the gamer. He tries to turn around. Tries to turn it around. Root comes in onto Bambi. There's also a stopwatch, I believe, right? Stasis. Yeah, but it's actually on the Silas. And unfortunately, just nothing else is able to come through onto the Silas, and Moxox almost ends up breaking. But able to get over the wall with that flash.
That was some real limit testing. That was some serious limit testing from Moxox. Able to put out all of that and staying as long as possible. So we're straight back into the action. Fred Spaghetti sent airborne. The shields are coming in though, and he should be okay. Still got one dash, but the curtain call comes down. They're looking to connect onto one. It's the Ornn though, as they're getting the return. Ornn Horn, 3-man knockup into the Everfrost. The slow comes down from Moxox. Nobody has died. Somehow, all of Lightside are able to limp away from the action and just about survive.
Yeah, and Lightside right now going, I think the better way to phrase is Guarp going toe-to-toe with Lightside at the moment.
Yeah.
Lightside really not feeling as strong as their scoreline indicates, and we've had plenty of people, come in on the interviews, say this, right? Lightside, maybe overrated standings don't really indicate how strong they are. Not saying they're a bottom 3 team like Guarp have been performing at the moment, but right now Guarp are really pushing Lightside every single skirmish, and they're already up 1,000 gold to prove it. I think being, not down several thousand gold like what we saw natives do to Ray against the topside team, super impressive for them. And again, scaling not too bad at the very least. The likes of Ivern and even just, Jin can eventually take over a game when there's not, too many frontliners on the side of Lightside. It's just the Ornn. Eventually Bambi will get, some resist, but he's a bruiser, and he's actually going into hextring second as opposed to just beelining it directly into that death stance, which I'm not sure how much I agree with. I feel like Death Stance is just a better item than having to sit on Hextring. At the very most, like, sit on a null magic if you're on MR. I feel super nitpicky, I know, but we'll see what Bambi decides to do in itemization. But, Fred Spaghetti, 2 items, right? He's talking about Jin being a champion that can take over some late games depending on the team composition. This could be one of them where there's not too much hard committal engage. Look to try and get a lot of damage out, and again, when he's got the Ivern to at the very least back him up, and again, look towards the mid lane where Silas is going to be being buffed up by the Ivern as well. See how much value Guarp can get out of what is a very unusual pick for competitive play.
Well, still got a little bit of time until that dragon comes up, 40 seconds, so Lightside are moving over to try and get themselves a better line on this dragon. Obviously, they are.
I think we just lost Jake. All right. Well,
back.
He's back. All right. Oh,
I'm having mini DCs. Hopefully, it doesn't happen in the middle of a fight. As a BZ throws out the ultimate, he's going to get caught out by the deadly flourish. He can't get the reconnect off, and that is a big deadly flourish actually from Fred Spaghetti. Not going to catch out on to the Silas for here, but that's actually the flash coming down from Svene. Is looking like they're chasing for a little bit more. They're going to catch a whole bunch of damage onto Viggo, but Viggo's about to gnaw out. And actually, everybody jumps in looking for that gnaw. 2 members pinned, and Moxox has to do a lot of work on his lonesome. Has gotten a lot of buffs. He gets so much damage off as the healing from the Kingslayer is absolutely enormous. But Moxox is not going to be able to do too much more. Able to surf over the wall to safety, but the curtain call will chase. He flashes away, and he's actually putting out some pretty serious damage here. Finds one with a W, and he's keeping the pressure up, and Nugget's going to run into him. Fight with a knockup. The chain last goes wide, and it's the ace coming in for the side of Guarp.
Yeah, Moxox just kind of just face checks at the very end there. Maybe that blue ward just not giving enough information because it's such a small vision radius. But Guarp, they win out on this team fight, and that's huge for them. Looks so heavy-handed. And again, Viggo Motson finds another massive Nara armor to try and tie that fight together, and they pick up this second dragon for themselves, 4th of the game. Now, we're not going to have a soul for a very, very long time, but I was saying, the likes of the Ivern, the Silas, all of that, additional shielding and healing, it's so much to have to deal with. We'll get to look at it in this replay because I don't know, Silas was just unkillable throughout so much of that. It felt like Flash was burned very early on from Sene because of a potential rocket grab. You can see Aria ultimate stolen, Naro into the backline, take down Svene. Immediately, there's no additional enchantment to, you know, keep the likes of Moxos alive. But look how much damage he's dealing. And again, this is the second team fight in a row where we see this Zeri, you know, kind of untouched for a majority of it, gets rooted up there, able to dash along the wall, but not so much hard CC if it can't be chained. And I think that's the crucial thing, which is allow Moxox to, you know, get so much value. And yeah,
that was optimistic.
I get why he went forward. He felt like he had the information, but again, the blue wall just doesn't give too much vision once it's been popped. And now,
oh, they're actually able to find the knock up there. They get the Ornhorn back in response. It's going to land on the 4 members of Lightside. Nugget lands a grab.
Oh,
and Svene is going to get squashed by Vigo. Moxox able to jump away to safety, but Breezy is pinned in place and he will fall to the Silas. 2 members of Lightside have gone down, and Baron is now on the menu for the side of Guarp. It is going to have to be a hero defense from Lightside.
It's going to have to be because Guarp are doing it again. Guarp, they took them down in the first round robin. They're looking to do it again in the second. Up 3,000 gold before the Baron falls. Nugget, Silas, they're going to move towards the mid lane and just defend it so Lightside can't even cross map in the slightest. Baron secured. And let's see what they can get done because these team fights are not looking close at all. Lightside just, I don't know, it feels like they don't have the damage. It's really hard to gauge. But at the very least, they can't kill the frontliners. So tanky because Ivern just keeps on shielding them and Fred's forget. Able to just layer out so much damage on top of it. And he's going to have to use the Heartbreaker to get out. But Guarp, what a game. It feels like for a really long time we haven't seen Guarp really pull out anything too special. Now with the Ivern, with the Blitzcrank, making Lightside sweat.
It's one of those things where when you play into a team like Lightside, sometimes it's just easier to play, you know, more comfort, more crazy stuff. Like you're saying at the beginning, how many times do you think they've scrimmed versus an Ivern this year? Probably none is a pretty healthy guess on that. And if they have, it's probably once or twice. They don't really have that much experience playing into the Ivern right now. It's, you know, other than solo queue games, the odds are you've not really seen that that much. I've not seen one this year at all. So it's one of those things where, you know, if you're not practiced into it, you might struggle a little bit. As I have to also give a big shout out to Fred Spaghetti. He has been on it with the deadly flourishes. He was able to catch out to Breezy and stop him from getting the redirect on the Ornhorn. He's been able to catch multiple like key targets in the fights at the back and then allowed the rest of his team to get closer and finish up those kills.
Yeah, he has really been setting up his team alongside the rest of Guarp. I feel like they're just all playing really well off of each other.
No.
To be honest with you, Rocky Roll.
Oh, that was close.
It's too close. Spooky, man. It's so spooky. It seems like at the moment, Lightside just able to hold on through this Baron buff for now. Again, the pressure is just on. All right, Guarp just slowly chipping away at this tower, chipped away at the tier 2 in the mid lane. Or will they be able to get done with this Baron buff? Just over a minute left on it. I mean, if Lightside can at the very least stave off this tier 2 siege, then they can definitely call it a very successful Baron. But question is, will they be able to? No one's in the mid lane trying to buff up that wave, so it is just going to be full 5 Camille from the bottom side. And I think the Lightside now might have to give this up because of the numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, it looks like this tower should be going down nice and easy here. Guarp keeping the pressure up, and it feels like Lightside starting to run out of options. This Baron Bush being a real problem for them as here we go. The Call of the Forge God comes down. Breezy finds a knock-up only onto 1, but they've got the root coming down from Duncan. Messi stopping Bambi from getting anywhere close. Daisy will fall down, and it looks like Lightside, they kind of used all the juice up in the tank here as they're going to get their own Ornhorn, catching onto 3. Guap's mid laner making it just look so much cleaner when they're the ones using the Orn. And this tower should just go down. They've run out of engage options with Breezy, and this tower will fall. Vigo can just zone away everyone on the side of Lightside, and this inhibitor bot side will fall down to the siege here from Guarp.
Yeah, well, Baron minions will do the rest as they walk away. Just have to escape. They... Actually, Vigo right-clicked on MBZ.
Vigo?
So he right-clicked on BZ, who just got reared by IvanQ. That's obviously what Cooler does. It brings you into melee attack range. You're a melee champion.
Yeah.
Or,
I'm assuming
into attack range, rather. So yeah.
I was assuming because he was also bouncing when he clicked, because he went miles.
Yeah, he did go quite far. Looks pretty strange, but Guarp, they're going to retreat towards the dragon, pick that one up. And yeah, easy as you'd like so far for Guarp. I mean, it just feels like Lightside haven't done too much. A lot of, you know, the glimpses of hope have been through Moxox in some of these team fights when he's not been focused down. But again, Guarp at the moment in the objective lead can just set up, wait for this next Baron to spawn up, and then just go and play towards it. That inhibitor going to be down well past that Baron being spawned up, so they can just play time for the meanwhile. I think Lightside just need to do their best to try and find a pick, but again, the pick tools just aren't really there for Lightside, to be honest with you. Now Vigo maybe trying to find something on Steez's, will just force out Spirit Rush. And Bambi's gone from sitting on a Hex Drinker to building Guardian Angel second. So question mark pings from me. That's all I'll say. Because I'm not sure what Viego's supposed to do with that build, to be honest with you. It seems like the option is just try not to die.
Jump in, be a problem, and then hopefully don't get punished too hard for that. I guess it is the plan. Yeah, actually seeing the ornaments are coming out as well. They've upgraded the shield bow, the Frozen Fist as well. I assume the Leandries is probably next up when Breezy does hit that level 16 mark, which is a pretty far way away from, unfortunately. So it'll be a little while until he is able to give out a few more ornaments to his team.
Not for now, though. Lightside, they do have, you know, fairly strong scaling options, right? The Orn items, rather. Zeri plus Lulu. It can be very obnoxious to lock down. And again, you know, Guarp, there's one thing they haven't particularly done so well this game. It's locking down Moxox in those initial team fights. You can maybe credit Moxox for his positioning in that regard, but they really do have to find something. Lightside, if they are to continue to stand in this game. Otherwise, they're going to be finding themselves 8-4, falling behind the top of the pack for the first time in a long while.
If they lose here, this puts Natives comfortably at the top at the end of the Super Week as well, which is really, really big.
Yeah, uncontested first place, which honestly, given from what we've seen today already and from the rest of the Super Week, I think it would make sense. I think Natives have looked like our strongest team this week. And I feel like Lightside haven't really had the best Super Week, yes, but also, you know, we've, again, heard a lot of those narratives from the players, from the staff that we've had on some of these interviews saying Lightside standings don't really show how strong they are. Like, we can expose them, and right now, Guarp, of all teams, towards the bottom end of the table, are doing just that.
Well, we've got a little bit of time until the Dragon comes up, so Baron is actually going to be the attention here for the side of Guarp. This goes down pretty quick now, considering how strong this whole team is. And teleport's coming in from the Ornn. That was the closest rocket grab I've ever seen. And Baron, very, very low. The Ornn Horn's going to come down, but the bushes means they don't really know where they're aiming. So they're just going to try and go for Vigo. But everybody else jumps in, and Tiz is taken down. Able to find the kill on the side as the Gnar comes down. And that is Fred Spaghetti cashing in on another kill. They're going to throw down the curtain call and chase for a little bit more. Vigo looking to stun people in place. Breezy able to get the shot off as Fred snipes into the backline. Finds himself a double kill. Will be looking for that triple. Just like that, Bambi is locked in place, and this will be a quadra kill to Fred Spaghetti. Beautiful play on the Jhin, as Lightside are absolutely squashed by Guarp.
They are squashed, and I mean, the wave on the bottom side is not quite shoved enough. Otherwise, they could maybe walk through the mid lane and just go and close the game out. So they have to return back to the Baron for now. But Lightside just couldn't do anything. And of all things, finally, Duncan Messi finds a root caller onto Moxox, and it allows Viggo Moxman to clear the gap between those two members. Nars him into the wall, and once he's been shut down, it just feels like Lightside fall apart. They have no more damage to respond to. And Guarp sitting comfortably in the lead in this game. 10,000 gold once the Baron goes down, and they should look to go to pick up the Infernal Soul and then end the game.
Yeah, just like that. Easy play here for Guarp. Very, very smart play. Able to pull back out of that Baron pit and just turn the fight. Look at the snipe at the end as well. Onto the Lulu, just taking Zvene out.
Yeah, so it's split on two fronts. You can see Moxox and Bambi were working on Viggo Moxman, but on the top side, Tesis gets caught out, but it's the root caller onto the Zeri, which enables Viggo Moxman to get on top of him, and then Fred Spaghetti just annihilates him with that fourth shot. Bambi does his best with some of these resets to try and make something work. He makes very quick work of Duncan Messi, to be honest with you. Stasis comes in to stop it, but look at this shot onto Zvene. Finds him right between the eyes, to be honest with you. And BZ in the middle of it all does his best. Same thing for Bambi, right? Comes out of the Guardian Angel, gets the reset, tries to make something work. But now, fight in the mid lane. Viggo maybe caught out. That's a lot of damage.
Is able to flash away. It's back to Nara, so he'll get a whole bunch of health back as they can steal the Ornn Horn and maybe turn it around. It's pretty big. Lightside haven't actually used BZ's ult himself, so there's an Ornn to work with. Viggo actually just going to reset. Does mean he's going to be tired for a bit at the beginning of this dragon, so that it's going to be pretty key. And they have no super minions pushing, but they're able to find onto Breezy, get him caught out for the moment. He throws down the Ornhorn, looking for a couple of members, only lands onto Duncan Messi once again. And now it's the Silas's turn to throw down that Ornhorn, try and find the big ram through all of Lightside. 4 members hit on the one. They're only able to hit Breezy, but the Bellow's Breath means he will be immune to the damage. Look at the shielding, look at the healing. Breezy slowed down, and Vigo will continue the chase on. Catches him with the Q, but no, Breezy able to get away. Massive amount of shielding and healing to make sure that Breezy survives, but this will be Dragon Soul to Guarp unless a miracle comes out from Lightside.
Yeah, I feel like with this Infernal Soul, the Baron buff, they're just going to be able to outstat them at this point. It's 3 Infernal Dragons as well, don't forget. Can't remember how much stats individually the Dragon gets, because it got changed so many times, especially in this preseason. I think it's 4% AD and AD, AP and AD. Reed, can you hover it? Now I'm curious. I want 4%, yeah.
4%.
Okay. So 4% AD and AP. That's a 12% extra, and then of course the procs itself. They're just gonna outstat them slowly but surely, and Jin is really gonna love that Infernal Dragon, don't forget, just because the way that champion scales very differently compared to others in terms of how he gets his own stats. Now, with this Baron buff, still about 40 seconds left on it. Infernal Soul, he's just gonna look to get as much damage done whilst these buffs overlap as possible. Bottom side of the map, you can see Silas looking to shove into that inhibitor, and in the mid lane, that tower's getting chunked out slowly but surely. Ooh. It's gone.
It is going to go down, but the Ornhorn connects onto 2 members, one of which being Daisy, but they're able to find a kill onto Nugget. And now Fred Spaghetti needs to kite away as Mogsox on the front. Going to just try and get as much chip damage out as possible as Triz comes in, gets himself the charm off onto Vigo. Vigo about to null out, and Lightside say, let's step away. We don't want to contest this. They have lost an inhibitor, though, in that bottom side as Breezy loses a lot of health as well, thanks to that Deadly Flourish coming in from Fred Spaghetti. And now this mid lane inhibitor will go down any second now. One more shot from Fred to finish that one up. And Guarp able to pick up 2 inhibitors. And they may just look to reset and go towards this top side now, but it doesn't look like Lightside are looking to let them reset quite yet.
Yeah, not just yet, but I think Guarp are going to be able to walk away with the spoils of war on this one. They might not even entirely reset, but I think they more than have the time to do it. No neutral objective on the map for 3 minutes at the very least. That'll be the Baron. And what a game from Guarp. Honestly, I think start to finish so far, really come out looking strong. Come out with the Blitzcrank, come out with the Ivern. Catch Lightside off guard. There's no way they're prepping for picks like this. And they've just made it work. And you know, even champions like Blitzcrank, for example, not really known for their team fighting. It feels like Guarp, which has been so excellent this game as a unit, out team fighting Lightside.
Yeah, Guarp are just playing this super clean. And I think the big thing is actually just the Silas versus the Ornn. Like, just better ults coming from the Silas when he's using the Ornn's ult than when actually the Ornn's thrown out. And again, you see them trading in here. He's going to lose a fair amount of health. Has to go golden with a stopwatch. Still has an Oriole to flash away. Is able to get over the wall immediately. And the Ornhorn not going to chase. Only going to go between the goalposts. As Vigo jumps in. Catches onto everyone. They've got the curtain call. They've got the follow-up damage. And Breezy able to stay alive for now, thanks to the shielding and the healing from the Lulu. But they're able to lock them down. Keep them in place for just a little bit longer. Fred for Spaghetti can't quite get the additional damage in. But the base is in shambles. There's already 2 super minions on the base, on the towers. And Lightside need to deal with this while dealing with a siege in the top side.
Yeah, it's just too much pressure at the moment. They're going to lose their tier 2 on the top side. They have to go back to base and reset. Get the health bars back up, get the resource bars back up. Then look to go and contest things. But Guarp again, looks a little bit shaky maybe in this team fight, but they blow Moxox's summoner spells, and that's the crucial thing, because now he's not going to have them for the Baron in about 60 seconds time. And Guarp are more than likely going to be able to abuse that. Again, another really great root caller into Vigor Mossman, just taking it in the Mega Gnar form and just finding multiple members. Fortunately, this time around, though, they weren't able to pick up any kills. But again, that CC turnaround threat is so deadly.
It really is. But you are seeing, you know, a little bit of life from Lightside, even considering the gold lead right now. But I don't think they are in a comfortable position to be able to contest this next Baron. But maybe they just have to. Coming up in 35 seconds, you kind of expect that this will just be Guarp's next attention here. But with the supers in the bot and the mid, someone has to handle that, but also they need to potentially try and steal or control this Baron area. The vision is down from the side of Guarp, and Nugget now hiding with Duncan Messi in that little pocket of vision as he's looking to try and find a potential grab here. Onto Ember Lightside, comes in, doesn't quite hit it, but the teleport's coming in, and Vigo about to gnar out. Is a very, very deep teleport. Beezy is just going to immediately have his ultimate taken away from the Silas, and I don't know if they can contest this third Baron as well.
Yeah, I mean, oh, they're gonna just play in the brush. Oh, it's gonna get blue warded out. Oh, Jesus.
Able to catch a charm, actually get a whole bunch of damage onto Duncan Messi. Able to survive for a little bit longer, and looking for the interrupt. 4-man ultimate comes in from BZ. Tiz is able to secure the kill, and now it's turned around. It's a 2-for-none in favor of the side of Lightside as Guarp are sent packing. Fred Spaghetti is being hunted, but he's able to get away. Mock's not going to be able to chase for anything more. Lightside just find 2 kills like that.
Yeah, and I mean, so many things go wrong there for Guarp. Meganar times out. Not only that, it's Duncan Messi that gets caught with that charm. If it's Viggo Mopson, I think he probably just face tanks it for the better, and he's all right. Now the Baron's being started up. What can they do? Oh, they've got Bambi! It's a flip! It's a flip! The jungler's dead!
They're going to go for it. Who's going to steal it? No, it's been secured by the side of Lightside. Viggo's about to gnar out Moxox. Loses so much help. He has to jump away. The gnar comes down. The Ari goes down as well as they're trying to get away with the deadly flourish. Triple kill picked up from Fred Spaghetti. Beastie pinned in place. They're not even going to go for the Quadra. They're just going to go for the game win here. Lightside just threw the game horrifically. The supers are in the base. BZ can't even get remotely close as Viggo will run him down with the help of Nugget. Nugget secures the kill. The base is in shatters as Fred Spaghetti will finish this up. The Nexus goes down. 40 minutes on the clock, and Guarp take out Lightside.
Guarp, man, what is it that makes you the kryptonite of Lightside? Like, you lose to everyone in the league except maybe they were the early adopters. Maybe they knew. Like, maybe they were like, because again, we've had this whole narrative coming from a lot of the people in the interview saying Lightside maybe not looking as strong as their score indicates. Guarp apparently knew from week 1 that this was the case and took them down, and they've taken them down here again. What a fantastic game for them, and what an important game, especially when London and Lucent are playing later on. Again, we spoke about the importance of not necessarily being in the bottom 2 by the end of the Super Week, picking up as many wins as you can, and you know, it's not necessarily as important per se as picking up a win against Lucent and Lightside, not Lightside, Lucent and London, because again, you know, you're talking about head-to-heads, avoiding relegation, but picking up a win against a team that is not in the same race as you at all is so important in terms of, again, the exact same thing, because now any other win you can pick up matters so much. If you're able to pick up the head-to-head and tie it up against London United or Lucent, maybe that's just one that they don't have, right? And that can really go the distance in keeping you out of that bottom 2.
There's 2 big takeaways from that. First of all, natives are guaranteed first place at the end of the Super Week off the back of that. And also it means for Guarp will not be going into 8th place at the end of the Super Week. So, you know, they are quite happy to be at this point where they are guaranteed to be tied for 7th and 6th in the standings. Really, really massive win there from Guarp. And we are going to throw to a very quick break. When we're back, we're actually talking to one of the members of Guarp to break down that game a little bit more. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a moment.